So if you have products and they're not making you money, or if you're thinking about building a product and it's not making you money because you haven't built it yet, but if you're thinking about products, if you have products and you're not selling and it's not selling, here's a few reasons why.
How'd you do that?
I see that success is not something you pursue, it is something you are.
All right, so I wrote down a few reasons why as to your products may not be selling, whether you have a book, a mastermind class, whatever it is, there could be a few reasons as to why it's not selling. So the first thing is you essentially didn't make something that people want to buy. So if you build a product that people aren't interested in, no matter how great your marketing is, nobody's gonna freaking buy it because you didn't make something that people were hungry for. So you gotta first off make something that's actually gonna fix a problem, make something that people really want to buy. And if you don't, you're gonna limit yourself. You're gonna do everything right. This is frustrating as hell. You'll do everything right, but for some reason people aren't buying. And they're not buying because you started out wrong. So that's the first thing. The second thing is your process doesn't work. So if you're trying to sell a product and you have a funnel and the funnel doesn't work, then that could be a reason why you're not selling. It reminds me of when speakers say things like, hey, I want to hire someone to book speaking gigs for me. Or, I mean, even a real estate agent. Oh, I want to hire someone who can sell houses for me and then I'll collect a commission. A lot of people do this. But the process doesn't work, and the process doesn't work because they don't know what the process should be. A speaker who says, I want to hire someone to book gigs for me, they don't know how to book the gigs themselves. So when they hire someone, they don't know either. So it's kind of like the blind leading the blind. So your process may not be working. Another reason is because they didn't describe it in the right way. So you didn't describe your product in the right way. So maybe the way you talk, it essentially doesn't influence people to buy. And this is why you really need to learn copywriting in general, because copywriting is one of the best skills you can learn in terms of selling. It's going to teach you how to sell, whether it's like in a video or teaching you how to sell in general, because copywriting really breaks everything down. I mean, if you don't know how to talk in a way that influences people, you're going to have a hard time selling anything. For example, when I talk, I just talk sexy. So people are like, damn, he makes me have an orgasm when he says hello. So you got to make sure that you essentially describe things in the right way. Make sure you're talking in a way that people want to do business with you. Another reason is you don't have enough people on your list. I know that you might have heard of the $1 million launch, and this person made $238,000 in 2 hours doing a launch. What you don't know, what they're not telling you, is that for 7 years, they built up their list to be 300,000 people. That's what they're not telling you. So when you hear these huge launches, they have huge lists. So you might have a small list, and that's why you're not selling products. That's why you're not doing the numbers they're doing. Whereas if you were to have the same size list, if you were to have 300,000 people, you would be doing $1 million in sales too. So just keep that in mind, that maybe you don't have a big enough list. Another thing is people literally look for reasons not to buy. Literally anything whatsoever, a small thing, people look for reasons not to buy. For example, with the Lead Gen Live, I sent out an email with Lead Gen Live and I put in the PS. I said, PS, if all this did for you was get you at least one event, then would it be worth it? And someone responded to me and she said, oh, I want more than one event. And I'm like, well, duh. But basically, she used that as a reason to not buy. She said, well, if all I'm going to do is get one event, then I'm not going to buy. Whereas she didn't see like, hey, of course you're going to book more than one event. But she looked for a reason to not buy. And people are constantly looking for reasons to not buy. Honestly, when someone finds a reason to not buy from me, I feel sorry for them because I know someone like her. I guarantee you, this happened months ago, a while ago. I guarantee you she's still struggling to get gigs because she refused to buy a program that literally had the answer to her problem. And I know that when people don't buy, they're the ones missing out. And people are looking for reasons not to buy. If you don't have PayPal on your website, if you don't have a guarantee on your website, these are little things that will cause people to not buy. And you just got to be aware of it. Another reason that people don't buy is they just never buy anything from anyone, no matter what. They just don't buy. They literally do not see the benefit in buying a program. They don't see the benefit in learning. They don't see the benefit in detailed knowledge because they think they can get everything for free. They think they can get all the specifics. They think someone who spent their entire life doing this thing is going to teach people how to do it for free. And so these people don't buy anything from anyone. So what you really do is you just ignore those people because they were never going to buy. And I remember listening to a podcast and maybe Tim Ferriss was talking about it, or yeah, I think it was Tim Ferriss was talking about it. He said he was kind of getting a little mad when he first came out with the 4-Hour Workweek with his book because people were downloading it. They had it on those torrent websites where people would download it for free. And he was getting kind of mad, and he asked the guy like, hey man, how do you make sure people aren't stealing your stuff? And the guy said, look, the people who go onto the torrent sites, the people who download your stuff for free, they were never going to buy your book anyways. They were never going to go to Barnes & Nobles. They were never going to go to Amazon. They were never going to buy your book anyways. And so Tim Ferriss was like, oh, okay, I get it. And that's what happens with products, where if people don't buy, sometimes there are people who just don't buy anything. And those are the people who struggle for years. I mean, if there was any way, I guarantee if there was any way to just like see a video of this person who didn't buy and see what their life looked like 10 years ago and what it looks like now and then what it'll look like 10 years from now, you'll notice that it looks the same because they refuse to buy and invest in themselves. So that's one reason. That's another reason why people don't buy. And also, you just want to think everything is your fault. If people don't buy, if they're looking for a reason not to buy, if whatever it is, if people don't buy, it's always your fault, no matter what. Even if you don't think it is your fault, even if it doesn't make sense, it's always your fault. And the reason you want to think like this is because it's the only way that you're going to be allowed to step up your game. When you see like, so for example, with PayPal does increase conversions on your website. So if you're trying to sell a product and you don't have PayPal on it, like right now, I don't have Speaking Lifestyle. A lot of the programs don't have PayPal. I know that I can think of two things about this. I can either say, well, people should just be willing to trust me and just buy the product anyways. Or I can say, oh, it's my fault. Okay, I get it. People they don't really trust the internet stuff, so they do trust PayPal, and so maybe I'll add PayPal. So everything is your fault, and you can always think about it from different ways, but just keep in mind everything is your fault. If people aren't buying your programs from you, is usually one of those reasons. So fix one or all of those reasons, and you'll be able to sell more programs.